So I was playing with people like Sammy Davis and Frank Sinatra and, Helen Reddy, Tony Orlando, all the acts of the day, and playing lead trumpet on those shows and everything. And I know that my dad was kind of proud of that, because I have former students of my father saying, "Oh yeah, your dad used to talk about you all the time." Well, he never talked to me.
Right.
And that's just kind of that father-son dynamic that always seems to creep in for a lot of fathers and sons. So anyway, I got the Tower of Power gig while I was working in Lake Tahoe. Mick Gillette started, his wife didn't want him to be on the road anymore. So Mick asked me if I wanted the gig after I'd been sitting in with them for almost a full year. And so I got that gig. But the story you're talking about was after I left Tower of Power, and I was with Rod Stewart's band for about 2 years. And we did a European tour. And as it happened, my father was doing a master class at the Richard Strauss Conservatory in Munich with a guy named Wolfgang Guggenberger, who was one of his students, and very well-respected teacher over there. And so it turned out that Rod Stewart was going to be in Munich at the same time that my dad was going to be in Munich. So we decided, okay, let's try and, hook up, grab dinner or something like that, and then you can come to the show. So I basically met up with him, and we went out to dinner with Wolfgang and his wife, and we noticed that it was kind of starting to get late, so we had to take, Wolfgang drove us back to my hotel where I would catch the bus and then just go to the Olympia Hall in Munich to play the concert, and then they'd meet up with me afterwards because they had, backstage passes and tickets and everything like that. So anyways, we started running late, and I got to the hotel and the bus was gone. So I'm panicking, going, "Oh man, what?" And Wolfgang, just quick thing, he says, "Come on, I'll just drive you there." Well, about maybe 2 miles from the venue entrance to the backstage area, it just screeched to a halt. It wasn't moving because everybody was getting into the parking lot for the Olympia Hall, and it seats like 20,000, that kind of thing. So I don't know what to do at this point. So Wolfgang, again, with quick thinking, decides he's going to go up onto the sidewalk and start driving down the sidewalk. And these sidewalks are really wide, kind of like down the Champs-Élysées in Paris, and they're real wide. Everything. So he's driving down, and all of a sudden these cops start jumping out in front of him and saying, "Halt, halt, halt," and everything. And so they come up to the window, and Wolfgang explains to them what's happening, that I'm in the band, that I need to get into the venue to start the show and everything. So me and my dad are in the back seat, and Wolfgang and his wife are in the front seat. And the cop says to Wolfgang, "Follow us." So we get this screaming police escort going into the back of the hall. My dad is looking at me like, "What the hell is happening?" So we get to the backstage area. I get in, I run in, I get changed, and we do kind of a band warm up, doing an a cappella thing with, just warming up a little bit for the whole band to start to focus as a unit. And my dad is backstage with us and everything, with Wolfgang and his wife. And so the concert starts, and, I go up on stage, and my dad was supposed to go out in the audience. Well, the only thing that I didn't realize was that it was a festival seating crowd. There was no seats.
Right.
So it's like, I'm just imagining he's in this mosh pit, and he's going to end up crowd surfing or something like that, and be crowd surfed up onto the stage or something. And so anyways, I playing up on stage, and all of a sudden I look, and he's kind of wandering around backstage, and I managed to get his attention while I'm on stage playing. I point him over to go to the soundboard and everything, and I had a break, so I went down off the stage through this little tunnel we had that would, go out to the sound soundboard area. It was the monitor board actually, but he was standing there, and I go, so what do you think? He goes, I have never seen anything like this in my entire life. And I said, yeah, it's a little different than a symphony performance and everything like that. And he goes, in my wildest imagination, I didn't even imagine this. What really floored him was the way Rod Stewart had the audience just in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
Everything that he would sing would get repeated back to him and everything. And it was funny because after the show was over, I could tell that his attitude towards me had changed just a little bit. You know, it was like there was a little bit of a newfound affirmation, shall I say, maybe not respect totally, but an affirmation that what I was doing at the best level I could, and I was executing my horn well and stuff. And he ended up talking to Rod Stewart back at the hotel, and it's too bad. I wish I would have stayed with him because I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall.
Oh yeah,
for that conversation, because they ended up talking for about 20 minutes or so, and the only thing I could get out of my dad, he said, "Oh, we were talking about you a little bit and stuff like that." But I think he was just really amazed at how Rod commanded this respect and everything from the audience, and this adoration too. He had never seen anything on that level either. So it was kind of one of those seminal moments in our relationship where I think he gave me some credibility as a trumpet player, which felt very good. Kind of resolved some issues for me too.
Yeah, well, that's great, and yeah, I certainly understand, rocky upbringings and having these kind of contentious relationships with your father in terms of the feeling the pull in one direction.
The direction of my life.
Yeah, basically. And for me, I did not. My father was a musician for many years, but he was in the ministry when I was born, and there was that pull towards that, and I felt pulled and pushed and tugged and tied down and all that sort of stuff, and revolted against it basically. But now at this stage of my life, I look back at it and I realize that I'm actually doing fundamentally the same thing, but I'm choosing my own path. I'm not doing exactly the same way, but I'm expressing that need to make the world a better place, to bring peace to people's lives in just a slightly different manner. And so much like you, and that was the point that you and I kind of jived on. It's like, yeah, it's great when you can look back and see the input and the influence, and see how you are becoming, thanks to your upbringing, you have become this really great person and this great talent. But at the time, it's like, holy hell, this is the last thing I want to do.
Yeah.